morning, fam. It's Tasha. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel. Your girl is so happy right now. I'm happy because I'm home. You know, we were gone for a week. You know, had to come and attend my plants. It's the very first thing when I came home. What plants looked like they were dying? Did the auto water system, did it work? All that good stuff. So, you know what time it is. Get your drink, pull up. So today, I wanted to talk to you about food supplies, okay? You know, things are getting pretty dangerous. A lot of channels are talking about this. A lot of people, even channels that aren't really considered prepping channels, are talking about food shortages and the food situation and what's going on. It's a very, very dangerous situation, and you should be taking it serious. Even if, baby, in your area, you keep hearing this stuff and then you keep going to the store and the stores are just fine, because that's what keeps happening here. I'm hearing it. I am seeing holes, definitely holes. I am seeing things not coming back to the shelves, right, that used to be in the shelves. But what I want to just say is, the thing that's weird about food, you guys, is that it is such an important necessity. You have to have it, right? And people just will continue to think things are fine until it's absolutely just not fine, right? Until the day that they personally go in there and see with their own eyes that there is no food for them to get, or the food that they want is no longer available. They're just not gonna believe it, see it, whatever you want to call it, until they can physically see it themselves. And it may happen like that, where literally it's just gone one day, and panic buying is happening in different places. So I want you to ask a question, which you already saw in the thumbnail, which is, will your current food last you and your family 30 days? That's the very first question you need to ask, okay? And then once you've asked that, you know, then you can move on to bigger projects, expanding that food out longer, continuing. But especially if you're a new prepper, or even if you're kind of seasoned, you know, we fall into these traps too of just getting food, and not doing the necessary things to ensure and to really know, do you have, you know, how many meals do you have, okay? So I'm going to tell you what you can do today to just check, okay? And then basically you're going to get on that and stack it up. And then I'm going to give you a couple tips if you're not quite there yet, how to get you there quicker, okay? So the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to do a 30-day grid down menu. That's where you are. And if you've done menu planning before, this is going to be easy, but I want you to make a menu concentrating on grid down, okay? I want you to concentrate on making meals, putting complete meals together in a grid down situation, meaning basically, I mean, no power. And then if you've taken your prepping supplies, your preparedness supplies a little bit further, and you have already your alternate ways to cook and stuff, okay, then build the meal plan around those alternate ways to cook, okay? Build it knowing, okay, I have a butane stove, okay, I have a propane stove, okay, I have a barbecue outside, okay, I have a fire pit outside. Build it knowing those things. But you also need to, I think there was a gnat, you also need to build it, if you don't have any of those things and it's just grid down, how would you guys survive? How would you put complete meals together that you guys could eat? Potentially cold, okay? If you're not to that level where you have another way to cook, you know, this is probably going to make you realize you need some way to be able to cook. And there's a lot of cheap options. In my affiliate links below, I have some options for butane stoves and things like that, camp stoves. Go use those, okay? Yes, I get a small commission, but if anything, use their names to do your own search in your own Amazon or your own websites, or online to Google. But you need to get alternate cook sources in your home, okay? And you need to be thinking, being able to do that outside safely, and then being able to do that inside safely. I think I dribbled on myself. Let's get some more coffee in us. It was a long drive home yesterday. I'm still not 100%. Okay, so that's the number one thing. So you're going to put this menu together, and you're going to figure out, hey, what meals could I cook my family in a grid down situation with the alternate cooking sources that we already have? Build that out. Once you've built that out, then you're going to go to your inventory and you're actually going to start pulling out stuff. Do an inventory, a full inventory of what you have, but then pull those things out to make those specific meals. Literally pull it out and set it to the side, right? Set it in your living room, set it on the counter, but set it aside so you can physically see what 30 days worth of meals looks like for your family. Put it on the kitchen table, right? Have that menu, have that stuff. And then you could even go further since you want to keep it together. Once you have 30 days complete, put that all together and put that in a big plastic bin and say 30 days of meals. Put the meal plan in the bin with the food, okay? And then boom, you've got 30 days. And you can continue to do that. Now, if you put that on the kitchen table and you don't have the 30 days, right? You have holes and different things. You're like, okay, I need a can of corn for this. I need some green beans here. I need a meat source here, whatever, right? You have your holes. Then you go shopping and fill those holes and then do the same thing. Put all that food together in some bins and put them aside that it says 30 days. I actually would not label it food, okay? Don't label it food. Definitely don't label it 30 days worth of food. Label it something else and then put it where you're going to put it. If it's in the kitchen pantry, then fine. Label it something, put it in there. If it's in the some sort of other closet or some other area or a pantry room, or it's in the garage, wherever, label it something else. Label it old, if it's in the garage, old kids' clothes, things like that, okay? And just put it away, okay? But don't label it food. But you need to do this. Now, tips. Some tips that you might want to think about is if you're brand new to prepping and you haven't started this at all, or you've started a little bit, right? You've started to get some food, but you haven't really organized it like this yet. You haven't really put complete meals together. I want you to be thinking about putting complete meals together, fill those holes. If you're totally starting or you still have a big gap, the way you do this fast is by bulk food, right? You make a plan. Let's just say I say, hey, all these are going to have either rice or beans. Okay, I get a bag of rice that I know will last me a month for my family, or a big bag of beans, and I make a plan around beans and rice meals, different meals with different meats, different vegetables, different soups over them, whatever, okay? You can do a variety of stuff with beans and rice. Not only is it filling, but you're able to get in a bulk. Or maybe the things you buy in bulk and you buy bulk complete meals. Let me give you an example. When I'm doing my meals, I think about the things that we eat and will we be able to still eat them in a grid now? So let's take something like spaghetti. We love spaghetti in this house. And I'm like, can we make spaghetti grid down? Okay. We have a cook source that we can use on a power source, right? We have an electric skillet. So I have something that I can heat up the meat. We have a butane stove as well. We have a propane stove as well. We have different ways to cook stuff over alcohol and stuff. Okay, so I would just need to have meat, noodles, sauce. Okay, my menu has us eating spaghetti twice a month. So it takes 1 jar to feed our family. It takes half a package of noodles, and then we need some meat, right? Well, normally we would just take the meat from the freezer, right? Thaw it out and cook it. But I'm thinking grid down. So I'm like, okay, I've canned some meat. I know some people here don't can, but it's super important for you to learn how to can your own food and preserve your own food. So for us, I'm just taking a jar that I canned of either regular hamburger meat or turkey meat, or excuse me, sausage, ground sausage. You could have a can of like sausage links, not like breakfast links, but like the big sausages that are cut up and canned. There's a ton of stuff that we've canned that we could put in the spaghetti as the meat source. You don't even have to have a meat source. Remember, there's sauces that have meat seasoned already in it, okay? So you can figure out how you're going to eat your spaghetti and get that. So listen, for 30 days worth of food, to be able to eat spaghetti at least twice, I just need 2 jars of spaghetti sauce. I go get that. I need 1 package of noodles. I go get that. And then I pull out my 2 jars of whatever different meats I'm going to do for those 2 different days. And then boom, I put them on the table. Hey, I have 2 dinner meals already done on the table. Okay. And so that's what I mean by thinking it through, getting it. You could either buy bulk stuff and build around those bulk items that you guys like. Let's say your family eats a lot of noodle meals, okay? Get your noodles in bulk and figure out how you're going to repackage them and then make your meals that way, okay? It's no different than people who make freezer meals or crock pot meals ahead of time, put them in the freezer. You could do that as well, okay? But just be careful. We're talking about grid down and preparing for grid down. So that means your family has a way to power that freezer to be able to keep that food after grid down. Now we could do that. I probably would not do it a lot, even though we do keep meat and things like that in our freezers and fridge. I probably wouldn't be preparing whole meals like that. We have some, but keeping them in the freezer, because at the end of the day, my backup plan for the freezers, if something happens to all the generators, right, and I just can't, just catastrophe happens, right, then my plan is to be able to have stuff in a way that I can just easily can it up, right? I can start canning it if we run into an emergency where our freezers, we can't power them anymore, okay? So I like the idea of having meats in there that I can easily throw in a jar and can. Now, I suppose I could do that with ready-to-go meals, but it depends, okay? Because there's some foods you don't can. So, take it for what it is, okay? So that's personally why I don't do a whole lot of ready-to-go meals that are in the freezer. I like putting complete meals together, and then you put those 30 days together. And then you physically know, you can see, hey, I've got 30 days there. Or if you have holes, when you go grocery shopping, you fill those holes until you have 30 days. You will feel, I cannot tell you the amount of accomplishment you will feel having 30 days worth of food set to the side in these bins, labeled little kid clothes or something like that, old baby clothes, something like that, and just put away. And then those menus you've done, you've put them with the food as well. Okay, and then you can just keep it moving, keep it moving. Yes, eventually you need to rotate, but this is more about getting smart on how to do menu planning for grid down and how to build out and physically see your accomplishment of 30 days worth of food, okay? Now, if you have some huge pantry and you're able to do this and you set it to the side, 30 days, boom, I see it, and then you see what food you have left, and then you see how long that will last, and then you figure out your plan of exactly how long that will last, and then you put it all back, fine. But you've got to figure out a way where you can constantly get a good idea of how many months worth of food you have on hand for your size of family. And if you have a huge family, like let's just say I had a huge family of 10. Now me, I always buy in bulk and I always think big groups of people, and because I expect family to make it to me. I expect some friends to be like, we're coming through. I'm a human being, you guys, and I expect that some people will make their way. Now the rest is not so easy, but I'm constantly thinking, I have nieces and I have nephews, right? I said nieces and nephews. I have nephews, right? We have kids. Like, we're always thinking a little bit bigger, okay? So for me, I like to see the exact amount of stuff that we have. Now, in the comments below, I don't want to hear let's practice OPSEC, right? We don't need to tell each other how much food we have, or I've got my 30 days, or I have, 6 months. We don't need to tell people our business like that, okay? But talk about some things, tips, okay, in the comments. What has helped you? Has it been bulk? Has there been a certain store that you thought helped you, fill your pantry up quicker, right? Was there a certain place you saw sales? Was there a certain place that sells bulk stuff awesome? Did it take you a super long time and it's just impossible? Whatever it is that you found that worked for you and your family, please share that, okay? If there's a certain way you keep the food, right? Like my idea about the containers, right? Is there's a certain way that you like to do it, or a certain inventory system you like to do, or menus that you have that you want to share, or meals that you want to share with people, like, hey, this is a very easy, meal that doesn't take that much, that will feed, your family for a while. Share that stuff, okay, so that we can help each other. I'm super excited to see the comments today, and cheers, you guys. I'm glad to be home, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care.